Wonder who that could be. Nope. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Hey everybody, and thanks for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. So last night I went out to finally see Us, the latest movie written, produced, and directed by Jordan Peele, and is the follow-up to his 2017 movie, Get Out. So I thought I'd jump on camera and give my thoughts and opinions about it. If you'd like to talk about this movie with me, I welcome you to do so, and I'd love for you to do so. Just comment down below in the comment section what you thought about Us, and let's get a conversation going. And with all that out of the way, let's talk about Jordan Peele's new movie, Us. So Us follows a family while they're on summer vacation. When a family of doppelgangers shows up, things get creepy, disturbing, and weird. And the mother in the family, played by Lupita Nyong'o, believes that this may have something to do with her past. So first of all, I loved the setup with this family in the movie. They really take time to develop, show you the dynamic and bond that this family has, and show you the relationships that are within this family. And I really liked that because when you set up this family, you actually got me to like this family. They had some really good comedy set up with the family. It almost felt like a family comedy for the first 30 minutes of this movie. And so by setting them up as this very likable family, especially Winston Duke's character as the father in this family, I gotta give a shout out to this guy. He had me laughing almost the entire movie. Most of the comedy came from him, and he killed it in the role. And that character was my favorite character in the film. But when you have this family set up that I like so much, and then you put them in this situation, it adds to the horror, and that's what gets me to be scared because I'm caring about these characters and I don't want to see them die or get hurt. And that's when horror movies for me are the most effective. And this movie did that very well. And also, the cast in this movie was fantastic. I've already talked about Winston Duke and how great he was as really the comic relief character, but you cannot give this movie the proper due without mentioning Lupita Nyong'o's performance in this movie as both the mother and the doppelganger. She gives a very great, nurturing performance as the mother, and I was rooting for her. And then on the flip side, she gives a really freaky, disturbing, and eerie performance as this doppelganger mother, and I was not rooting for her. I wanted her to die the minute she opened her mouth. Lupita Nyong'o, as the mother character of the doppelganger family, gives one of the creepiest, disturbing, and just unsettling, uncomfortable monologues as this doppelganger mother that I've ever witnessed in a horror film. It got under my skin. It gave me the shivers. I was actually shaking a little bit by what she was saying. The voice that she gives this character, I wanted her to stop talking the minute she started speaking. It was so unsettling and disturbing to me. And all of these actors essentially have to act off themselves. I watched an interview that Winston Duke mentioned that they had body doubles some of the time, but for a lot of the time they're acting on themselves. And that can be a challenge for actors to do. And I thought that all these actors, even the kids in this movie, did perfectly. When they're interacting with their doppelgangers and they're acting against themselves, I totally believe that these characters are two separate characters, two separate beings, and I was freaked out by the one set and I was rooting for the other set. And I just found that really impressive that Jordan Peele was able to pull that off with his direction and that the actors were able to pull that off with their performances. And as a horror movie, this really succeeded for me. It was very unsettling. It was disturbing. It was psychologically in my head. It got in my head. It made me think about things. It really just got under my skin. And there are jump scares in the movie, but the jump scares are very limited, and the jump scares are not what frightened me. It was the pacing. It was the setup to the scares. It was the way that these characters toyed with one another. And anytime one of these doppelgangers showed up on screen, I just got the shivers. I was shaking. I was like, no! No! I didn't want to see them. They were freaking me out. When the scene got to a point where it was really intense and I was all tensed up, the movie at points broke it with comedy. But it wasn't comedy that took away from the scare. It was comedy that fit in the situation and came from the characters. It was almost like the characters were using comedy as a coping mechanism for the situation. And that felt really real to me because I use comedy as a coping mechanism, so when they were using it, I was like, yeah, that's probably how I would use it in this situation as well. They were still freaked out, but they were using comedy in a way that felt like it naturally fit. It didn't ruin the scene and it didn't take away from the scare, but it was there to kind of ease the tension, which I really appreciated because I would get to the point where I was so tensed up, so the scene was so intense, and then when they broke it with comedy, I was able to let out a laugh, and that is what made the movie fun for me. I wasn't freaked out and just tensed up and wanting to die from this experience in this movie. I was having fun with it because they broke up those intense scenes with comedy that actually made me laugh. And then they'd go right back to scaring me. I thought it was done very well. And this movie really leaves with a bunch of questions and ideas it brought forward. This movie brings a lot of ideas to the table and a lot of questions to the table that I honestly don't have the answers to and I also haven't figured out yet. which could be a negative. Maybe the questions can't be figured out because they just don't make sense to me. Maybe I'm just dumb. But what these questions and ideas do is I think it's going to give this film a long lifeline. I think this is going to be a film that people can look into, dissect, break apart for years to come. I think there's a lot to analyze in this movie. There's a lot of metaphors, a lot of ideas, a lot of symbols. It's just a lot of things that people can look into. I just looked at it as a surface level horror movie, and by the end of the horror movie, I was very satisfied. It left me shaken. Part of me never wants to watch it again, and part of me really wants to see it again, because I feel like a second viewer may answer some of the questions that I had at the end of the movie. In the end, what I saw from this movie is Jordan Peele take a bunch of elements from home invasion movies, zombie apocalypse movies, and slasher movies, and put a spin on them to make this movie feel very, very original. And this movie was just a great time and experience in the movie theater for me. It had characters that I really liked, it brought me scares, it brought me laughs, and by the end of the movie I was shaking, but also smiling by the fun time that I just had. I think Jordan Peele has once again proven himself to be a fantastic director with this film, and I can't wait to see what else he does in the future. Guys, that was all my thoughts and opinions about Us. What do you think about Us? Did you have a chance to see it yet? Comment down below, let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about the movie Us, and I want to get a fun conversation going with you. Guys, thanks again for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. My name's Zachary Milne. Thanks for talking movies with me, and I hope you have yourself a great day.